Good evening, black people and all allies fighting for black liberation, black prosperity, and black joy. I'm Charles Blow, and welcome to Prime. This week marks 6 months into the Biden presidency, and according to two new polls, it may not be going that well. According to a new Gallup poll just released today, President Biden's job approval rating has now fallen to the lowest level since he's been in office, hitting 50%. That's down from 57% at the start of his presidency. His disapproval rating has also risen from 37% to 45%. And when it comes to the vice president, a Morning Consult Politico poll shows that more registered voters view Kamala Harris unfavorably than favorably, 47 to 45%, although that is clearly within the margin of error. That's a slight dip from last month when she was tied at 46% favorable and unfavorable, also within the margin of error. Harris has faced some heavy criticisms on immigration, and she's been giving the heavy toll of protecting voting rights. And President Biden has promised to hit the road to push for those voting rights as well, but instead, he did this today. He hit the campaign trail alongside his buddy Virginia gubernatorial candidate Terry McAuliffe in his first in-person event since taking office. The event is being eyed as a test of Biden's political brand ahead of the midterms. And that comes just days after Vice President Harris confirmed that she'll also be campaigning for her longtime friend and home state governor Gavin Newsom in the recall effort that he's trying to fend off in California. Still no word on when either will hit the road for voting rights. Joining me now to discuss is senior writer at TheRoot.com, Michael Harriot. So, Michael, what do you make of the falling approval numbers for President Biden? It seemed to me that he was, kind of governing by consensus and doing things that only polled well. So why would his polling numbers have fallen so quickly?
I think his approval ratings with Republicans were never going to go anywhere. And I think, this drop that we see in his approval ratings, it may be just the Democrats, because a lot of people have become disillusioned with, first of all, after every election there's a drop in approval ratings, after the excitement of the election season and just governing sets in and people realize that the person they voted for is not a superhero, then the polls drop anyway. But I think part of it is that, there are a number of issues that the people he voted for, specifically black people who put him in office, thought he would prioritize, and he doesn't seem to be doing that now. We don't know what he's doing behind the scenes, but as far as we can see, what the things that put him into office was, there were black people concerned about policing bills and of course after the election voting rights and some of the things that was on Black America's agenda. He doesn't seem to have pushed for as hard as we think he should. He's going for this bipartisan consensus that will never happen as far as, history and truth and facts are concerned. And the people have become disillusioned with that.
Do you also think that there's some part of this that says that, giving out money only goes so far? I mean, like there was a period where we were just passing out checks. And now the infrastructure bill is somewhat hampered at the very same time that voting rights are under attack. Nothing is moving forward, and there are no more, big rounds of checks coming out. Is that part of what's happening here?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. And remember when those checks were coming out, like we had just found this vaccine that was getting out everywhere. It looked like COVID was finally going to let us out of the house. And, police hadn't killed anybody in a couple of days. So, it was the combination of those things that gave him a good approval rating. And, COVID's back. Everybody's broke again. Joe Manchin won't, sign up for the filibuster. And I think people have become like regular governing has set in. The Republicans have become the Republicans again. They're still trying to overturn elections and stop history. Right. So I think we're just setting into the reality that comes after every election.
What do you think of the vice president's polling numbers? I mean, it's basically at the same level as Mike Pence at this point in Donald Trump's presidency. You know, there was a lot of excitement, hope around first woman, first black and Asian, Southeast Asian woman being a vice president. What do you think is happening there? And also, do you think the fact that Biden is basically shoveling all the tough stuff that doesn't have anything to do with giving away money onto her shoulders, like dealing with immigration and dealing with voting rights?
Yeah, like she's basically got the two hardest political and legislative deals on her shoulder. So that's part of it. And I think part of it is that, like, even if vice president plays a part in the political administration, is largely behind the scenes, is largely legislative and twisting people's arms. She hadn't been able to twist people's arms. And again, you know, we're not going to see, you know, the successes of Kamala Harris unless we're told them. Like, we're not going to see them manifested in themselves. And if we see them, they'll probably largely be given that credit to Joe Biden. So unless, you know, she sits outside Joe Manchin's house with the car running, waiting for him to come outside, it's not really much she can do, except, you know, she's not going to fix immigration. Let's be realistic about it. Right. If voting rights is fixed, it'll be because they get rid of the filibuster. So, you know, she is doing the stuff that a vice president does, and I think, again, the excitement went down and it's back to real life, real governing.
You know, I had a friend, you know, talk about how no one wants to give Kamala the win as well. I mean, if you had a vote that was 50-50 and she came in as the savior and cast the 51st vote and, you know, on some big piece of legislation, no one wants to see that image. You know, right. I'm not. You know, I'm not sure I'm not sure if that's real or not. But it was fascinating to hear someone kind of like put that out as a theory. What do you think?
I mean, okay. Well, let's ask ourselves this: when was the last time a black woman got credit for doing something? Right. So, you know, she's not going to get the credit. Biden's going to get the credit. They were going to say, well, this is what she was supposed to do anyway. She's not going to get the credit. Because, and it's not just because she's a black woman, but because she's a black woman in this administration who, you know, everybody on the right is going to vilify, and everybody on the far left is going to say, well, we want more. So, you know, she's kind of in a situation where if she does get a win, you know, at the most she'll get a sigh of relief, and everybody will say, well, that's what we wanted, you voted for you to do. So I don't see, you know, she's in a kind of precarious situation. And we also have to remember that all of the people who would give her the credit, a lot of those people want to be president after Joe Biden. So they can't heap this praise on her, and knowing that she's going to be contending with them for the highest position in the land in a couple of years.
Let's shift gears just a little bit. Ever since Biden gave that speech about voting rights and how important it was, and said that he was going to be taking his message on the road, we at this show have been trying to keep track and see when exactly is the show going on the road, because you keep doing things either in DC or not, and tonight you're on the road, but you're not on the road for voting rights. What gives here, Michael? Why not a full court press from this administration and from this president on voting rights?
Right. I mean, to me, if he was on the road for voting rights, there's only two places to be, and that's in Arizona or in West Virginia, putting pressure on the people who are stopping the Senate from overturning the filibuster, or at least carving out a section for voting rights legislation. So if he's not doing that, like, who cares if he's on the road in some state that is already Democrat and whose candidate is likely to win? Who cares if he's, you know, going to factories and doing all that stuff? If he's on the road for voting rights, he's got to be putting pressure on two people. He's got to be putting pressure on the Senate to get this John Lewis Voting Rights Act bill across the finish line. And unless he's doing that,
right? But we've seen absolute no pressure, zero pressure in public. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. There may be some talks between Biden, Manchin, and Sinema. I have no idea. Publicly, we have seen zero pressure from Joe Biden on either one of those people, those senators.
And I know.
Why is that?
Because I think the people who support Joe Biden, the people who Joe Biden cares about, remember, Joe Biden has always been a moderate. He's always been a centrist. He's always thought that you win political coalitions by going to the middle, right? And I think the people that he cares about are white, and they're not affected by voting rights. We just saw a poll come out today that says 55% of white people don't even feel like voting. I mean, only 51% of white people feel like voting is a right. 49% feel like it's a privilege, right? And they're the only demographic that is even that close. And so Joe Biden isn't really concerned. It doesn't really threaten his political legacy in his eyes. And some people say I'm an alarmist, but I really feel like we have about 6 months to pass this voting rights bill, or it'll be passed down to another generation. Because if it goes into the midterms, then judges can put a stay on it, even if it passes. And if the Republicans win the House and the Senate, they can enact this federal legislation, and we won't be able to change voting rights for another generation. It'll be our children fighting the same fight. So I feel like we have about 6 months to do this, and it doesn't seem like there's any concern on the part of the White House.
You like the doctor with the bad news giving us 6 months to live. Thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
A hard right-wing governor blames the unvaccinated for the current COVID crisis. That's next on Prime. You're watching BNC.